Hi, welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn, and I'm on location.
Jack is out of town for this week, having a little relaxation trip, whatever you want to call it. And we would still decided to bring you the Jac and Glen show, whatever you want to call it. Our recap of Married at First Sight is a little bit behind schedule as we normally do it, but we decided to do it live since she left me, y'all.
I didn't leave him. I just went out of town.
She went out of town, but
He's
now we're
stuck
gonna do
with me. He's stuck with me.
I am stuck with her. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. Married at First Sight, episode 13. Season 13, episode 9. Episode 9. Let's talk about Married at First Sight. Last night episode had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of good stuff to discuss. So we want to get discussing. I wanted to get discussing this now. Let's start with Miller and Gil. Miller and Gil. We saw them. What was funny about them? Excuse me, with Miller and Gil, that even at the beginning when they were doing their, if you noticed, they were saying their last names, and she still put her last name at the end of it. She is not going to let that go.
I think he said it. No, he said his name. He said Cuero Feria. And she said Feria Cuero. Her last name is Feria.
Feria, okay.
So she actually put it first, which is proper. If a woman's going to hyphenate her name, you put your maiden name and then attach his. So he said it wrong.
Well, excuse me. He said it wrong. Sorry, that's why I don't speak Spanish. But anyway, you
don't have nothing to do with that. It's just like that when I hyphenated my name, my maiden name went first.
Yeah. Hey, each his own. Each his own. No, but we see with her, we see her and Rachel meet up. And they start talking about the housewarming and what Jose's friend said about what Rachel's friend said about Jose. She wanted to see if Jose was really genuine, if Jose was going to be who he was outside of her appearance. And her friends really liked Jose. They really thought Jose was a genuine guy, thought Jose was a person that they could talk to. And I like how, Mirla says she works from home, but she's able to talk. The interaction between the two, I thought was pretty good between Rachel and Mirla, because they had that kind. You can see they started to build a bond with each other. And so that's what's good there. And we saw that Gil brought her a plastic ring.
Yes, because he said she works out a lot. And so he was concerned about her finger, maybe hitting it with the, getting a ring caught or whatever. We know about that, don't we?
Yeah.
Because my husband absolutely banged his ring up quite a lot when we first got married, because his job involved machinery and stuff like that. So we'd always get banged up. But yeah, so Mirla was like, I don't think that's romantic. Like, why would he give me a plastic ring? And what she went on to say was that, she says, I told him I wanted a Cartier one, and he said he would get it. And so what Rachel said on the side was, I think she's just missing it. It is a romantic gesture, meaning like he's looking out for her finger. It's not the bling bling ring, but I bought it for you. And also it's so it's practical considering how much you work out. And I'm sure she works from home, but I'm sure she does a lot of typing or, working on the keyboard. Sometimes your ring can get in the way with that too.
Yeah, I think she missed it. I think sometimes even through this whole episode, I think she missed some of the gestures that he did for her, or the way editing put it. He did a lot of good gestures for her throughout the whole episode of trying to. I don't want to say he gives in, but he kind of gives in to her, and he caters to her, and what she's supposed to do. He caters to her, and he's trying everything he can to make sure that their relationship goes off well, that everything goes off without a hitch. And so he's doing all the nice, sweet things. But to me, just with her, it's not that she's not appreciative, because I think she is appreciative. She just doesn't show any emotion behind it.
Right.
I think she's very appreciative of what she does for him, and what he does for her. But he just doesn't show anything. She doesn't show it on TV. That she really appreciate him for that. And, then Miller and Gil talks about they talk about purses. They talk about different things of that nature. They talk about how how if it was a gifts, and if it's a Prada purse, or if it's a a Gucci purse. If the purse has name brand, she'll get it. You know, that's one of the things that she does. You know, they discussed. We all know she's high maintenance. Let's be honest. She's bougie.
No, she said it's not high maintenance. I don't know what she would call it, what she would title it, but I mean, to the rest of us, it's high maintenance. But did she even put a word to it? She keeps saying it's not high maintenance, but that's what it is.
It is. She just like name brand stuff, and I'm not knocking her for liking name brand stuff. But again, she never put it in perspective. She's never put it in order. She wants to have this name brand thing. Even when we got to the part, and I don't want to jump ahead, even when we got to the restaurant part towards the end, it's because it looks good, because it looks fancy, because it looks nice. She wants to maintain a standard, and that's her standard that she wants to maintain.
Mm-hmm. But they had a conversation too when they were talking about the purses. You know, he was like, you know, how many purses do you actually need? And I don't know what happened to Glenn. How many purses do you actually need? And she was like, I mean, I need as many purses as I have. But they talked about that, about being in love. Have you ever been in love? And both Mirla and Gil agreed that they have been in love before. And that how do you know that you've been in love? And so she said, you know, for me, I know I'm in love because I want to always be around this person. You know, I can see myself having a family with this person. That's how I know I'm in love. And so Gil's thing was, you know, how do I know I'm in love? Well, I think he was talking about her, to know that she feels the love to him, and, you know, vice versa. It has to be actionable. Like, I don't want to just hear it with your mouth. I want to see it through your actions. And she hasn't really been giving that to him.
Yeah, which is good to her, though. But she likes action. She likes things. And you know, she's talked about that a little bit on Unfiltered, how it's all about for her is action. I want to see things. I don't always want physical. It's not always got to be physical. It has to be things that I need to do and that I want to do. She wants to take her husband to the nice restaurants, and she wants him to be able to interact with her. So she likes action. Just don't give me lip service. But she like, again, acts of service. She wants to see acts of service, and that's what makes her comfortable with him. And he likes to do acts of service. But again, the way that she comes off, the way that TV presents her, that she comes off, that she's ungrateful.
No, but it was him too saying more that I want the action. I don't just want the lip service. Like, you know, even for but the two of them, you know, you're saying you like me and you're feeling me, but I'm not getting the affection that says that you do.
Right, because he wants the physical. He wants the physical attraction. He wants the touchy-feely. All right, and she doesn't want the touchy-feely right now. She wants to get to know him, you know, on a different level. And I mean, you see that they do talk a lot. They do converse. And so, but he wants the touchy-feely, and she wants to feel something emotional attachment. I think she does care for him a lot. She is attached to him. You can see it in her eyes how the joking that they have, even little quirkiness that they do with each other. So you can see that they're feeling each other, but he wants more. He wants more physical touch, like Johnny a little bit, but he's not carrying it like Johnny. Or he hasn't carried it like Johnny carried it.
Right. And then, of course, they had a whole conversation about him and his love for chocolate chip cookies. And I know how much you love chocolate chip cookies because you eat them every day. And later on, there's a scene where you see the chocolate chip cookies in the jar and he's eating them. And he was like, well, I mean, they're supposed to be eaten. So, yeah, I'm going to eat them.
I know it's feeling. If it's in the kitchen, we have it. Go ahead and let's eat it. Let's take care of it. That's what you buy stuff for. You buy stuff to eat it. You not to savor it or take care of it or look at it. If it's cookies, it's cookies. Then what's funny about that, she said she liked chocolate chip cookies as well, but she talked about the keto version.
Yeah, he was like, ew, no. She was like, I can make some keto ones that you'll like. And he was like, no.
He said, I'll try them, though. I mean, he'll eat them.
But I think, wasn't he like, you know, having a keto chocolate chip cookie, that kind of takes the point out of the cookie.
Yeah, it takes the point of having the sugar and cookie. And, you know, again, Gil works out, so he takes care of his body. To me, I think the cookie is like a treat for him. That's his treat after he works out and after he take care of his body. He just like chocolate chip cookies. But it was knocking back chocolate chip cookies. One thing he said that you know, he said he's not tired of seeing Mirla. That he wants to always see her. He always wants to be around her. He likes being with her. Even with his work schedule. Think about his work schedule. helps them grow and be closer because he works 24 hours for 2 or 3 days and then they're together. So they're not always on top of each other.
And she works from home.
And she works from home. So when he does come home, they're able to spend that time. And then she has a little moment where she can feel like she misses him. You know, they're not always on top of each other. So I think that works well for them in their relationship that they're going through. So
they're definitely not on top of each other.
Well, no, they're definitely not on top of each other. You know, that goes into people.
He wants some affection. he ain't even getting no kiss still.
He still hasn't got a kiss, but you see her. She laying on top of. She lays on top of him. They go to bed together. They snuggle. She lays on him. They snuggle. They keep up. They keep up with each other. So therefore, they have that physical interaction. It's just not the way that he wants it. So it's not the kissing that he wants, or maybe the patting, but she does hug up on him and she does lay on his chest. She does sit in his lap. So, I mean, those things he's getting a little bit of that. He's just not getting, where he thinks he should be at. But he says he's fine with it, though.
Yeah. That was the other thing they talk about, the question where the experts gave them some questions, some love questions. And so it was, do you feel like you're beginning to fall in love? And she said, well, for me, to fall in love or be in love with somebody, it's a choice. It's not something you just fall in. It's like a choice. And that's actually something that Pastor Cal kind of drills home with them. If you feel it, you grow in love. You don't fall, you grow in love. And to me, that's what she was saying. He seemed kind of disagreeable with it. He said it later when all the couples got together. Amelia thinks falling in love is a choice. But they also add is like, okay, but I don't see her. If she feels like it's a choice, I don't see her making that choice. Like, you got to make moves so that reflects that it's your choice and that you're making the choice.
Yeah, I think, she's right. It is a making a choice because you choose to fall in love. I chose to fall in love with you. I could have loved somebody else, or you do choose to fall in love. I could have, but it wouldn't have been, my life wouldn't have been as great as it is right now because I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? But because I'm with you, my life is good. But you have a choice though. You choose to accept that person, to be vulnerable with that person and be in love and be mixed with them and have that, to let your hair down per se. So you do that. So I understand where she's coming from when she says, you know what, it is a choice. Yeah. It is a choice.
Yeah, but he said he's on his way there, but he's not sure how far or close he is to her there, like how close they are in the same spot. And he felt like living together will either make or break them. They'll either get closer or further apart.
And I think right now is making them. I think they're having. If you really look at the relationship, they are having the hard conversations. They're talking about the things that other couples are not talking about, and so they having the hard conversations. It's just not the affection piece for him. I mean, he's not upset by the way her lifestyle. He said he'll be able to adjust to it. She'll be able to adjust to some of the things he do. They're not even mad about the money situation from what we've seen. It is just about the affection right now that he's not getting, even to the point when they were at dinner. He's like, I just want you to want me.
Right.
I just want you to want me, which if you watch Unfiltered, she said was really more so he didn't really understand what she was saying about her saying that I want a brunch husband, meaning I want somebody to share all these nice places I go to. I want somebody to share all these the things that I like with. Not that I just want to put you on an arm and let you be a trophy piece, but I want to share it with a husband, somebody that I'm connected to. That wasn't a bougie statement. It was like, you know what? I want somebody that I can go out with and hang out with.
What? Since you jumped ahead, I don't think it was a bougie statement, but remember, Gil is the type that, he's a firefighter. He's not he likes things, but not to the point where she does. He's not going to like overspend. And so his thing is, I'm not a go out to eat person all the time. So for him to go out to eat all the time, that's out of his comfort zone. And even to the point where he was like, so you want to do brunch every day and go out to dinner twice a month? For real, that's not too much. Now I feel like brunch every day, that's a bit much. And that's gonna bust his pockets. Like I think he's thinking about the money aspect when it comes to it. But the going out twice a month for dinner, like I'm sitting here talking to my sister and my niece, and we were like, well, what if, okay, it's not too much. What if we didn't do brunch every day? What if they did a couple brunches one week, and so next week we go out to dinner, and then the next week after that we do some brunches. So I don't know.
But what she mentioned on Unfiltered, that's why I like the fact they put Unfiltered on after the show. I stayed up late and we watched it. She was like, I cook at home every day of the week. She said she cooks at home every day of the week, and they do brunch on weekends. And so you looking at the brunch on weekend, maybe a Saturday or Sunday, and going out to eat twice a month, or having a brunch date, or having a date going out twice. That's not a lot, at all. Twice a month, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's pretty darn good.
I know. I was like, really, Gil? Come on, it's not like, too much.
And I'm Mr. Thrifty, not cheap, thrifty, but that's pretty good to go on twice a month to go on a date. So to me, Gil, that was overboard for me. For Gil saying twice a month, it was too much. I disagree with that. I mean,
the other thing I want to say about them too is, again, they're talking about putting into practice what Gil was putting into practice and showing his affection and his, how he feels for her. And so he offered to give her the foot rub, the foot massage. That was hilarious. And he was like, I want to give you, I'm pretty good at this. I'm going to give you a foot massage. And so he's massaging her foot, and I'm laughing because I have to do it like her. She's getting her feet rubbed. And
Yo, she was on her phone because it was because it came out of the blue. And again, Unfiltered, she was like, it came out of nowhere. Like, where did this come from that you wanted to rub my feet? And it's cool. Then he brought out the big cocoa butter, right? He brought out the big jar of cocoa butter and to rub her feet. And so she only gave him a 5.5, but the gesture was this. He just wanted to, again, read between the lines. This is a guy who just wants to touch his wife. He's thinking, you know what? If I rub her feet, maybe I can get her into the mood for other things. And she was willing to let him rub her feet. She enjoyed it. She didn't say it was terrible. Again, it was a 5, but it's Gil's way of trying to connect with her so he can get closer to her, that intimacy. So he's trying to do little things just to be intimate with her. And that's what the
other thing is, he's trying to get some reciprocity too. So maybe if I show her, she'll show me. You know, if I show some more affection or whatever. But yeah.
And rub the feet, maybe try his way too of breaking down her summer walls and making her feel comfortable.
But she said she wouldn't mind a foot rub more if her feet hurt. And she was like, because my feet don't hurt. I work from home. My feet are hurting. The other thing I want to say right there, and I don't mean to cut you off, husband, is that what Gil said is, I'm finding out, I'm gonna have to try some really different things, because he was like, my wife is hard to please. So I think that's where he's struggling too. Because we can admit she is like a lot of, I don't know, no, I don't like that, or I don't like that. She's really particular. So I think he's really struggling with that too. So we saw that.
But if he wants to do that, and again, being particular, if you have a particular wife, you have to find out what they're like and what they do. And then you continue to move to meet that need. Again, vice versa. She has to find out what he likes and try to meet that need for him, whether it's chocolate chip cookies, whether it's, going to the gym, working out, lifting weights, whatever it is, you have to find that. And in this 8-week process, there's no cookie cutter mold. You know what I'm saying? She's not going to just stamp out. So now what I like, Gil is trying to learn and trying to figure out what works for her. And so I think that's the biggest key there for him, is what works for her. And he's trying to do that. And so there lies, where their dilemma or their process is, trying to find out what works. He knows that she's particular. Okay, what do you like? There's nothing wrong as a man asking, what do you like? How do you like it? It's just like asking, how do you like your eggs? You like them runny? You like them sunny side up? Do you like whatever case may be? How do you like this? And so now I'm getting the rules to how to engage with you. So when I do something for you, it doesn't come off whack or doesn't come off as a 5, but everything that I do come off genuine, and it get ranked up there by me just asking, hey, what do you like? And then listening and going out there and handling that.
Yeah, last thing I'll say about them is we'll go forward. You talked about it before, but like when they went out to dinner, and she talked about the fact that she went to this restaurant before because she saw a blogger on there, and he had a drink. The glass said Chanel number 6, and so that's why she really wanted to come. And he was like, "But did you ever consider that maybe I didn't want to come here?" So it's a little bit of both, like he's trying to figure out what it is that she likes, but also not trying to just fit him in her mold but understanding I'm a pretty simple guy. So, you know, just do some simple things. They don't take all that from me. You
Again,
know,
yeah,
he wants to feel wanted, like you said before.
it goes back to both of them learning each other. You know, what does he
Mm-hmm.
like? You know, and what does she like? Okay, he may not be into the Chanel #6 and all that other stuff in his restaurant, but she is. So guess what? This time we go here with your restaurant. Next time you go to where I like to go at, and then we can work this thing out together. And I think that's the key there. How can we manage this relationship and work this relationship together so we can get, you know, we can get on the same page? Because
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired of him saying she's bougie, she's stuck up. Personally, you know what you have by this point. It's 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks in. Now, either you're going to deal with it or you're not. And if she gives you the affection, are you going to put up with it? So we already know you already know what she is. So either you're going
Mm-hmm.
to try to stick with her and meet that need, or you're going to move on. And so stop. Let's not complain about that and move on and try to make your wife happy, and vice versa. She trying to make him happy. And guess it may not take much to make him happy, but at least do some things for him and make him want it. I don't care if it's a back rub his bald head, help shave his beard, whatever case may be, you know. But again, have that interaction with each other and move on.
Yeah. Side note, because then we're gonna go to Brett and Ryan. We had all the stages of beard for Gil in this episode. I was
Yeah,
like, his beard is going through, but
his beard is going through. We had all the stages. You had the rough, scruffy beard. You had him clean shaven.
yeah,
You had it all. I mean, as a
just
firefighter, I'm
a
sure.
mustache.
Yeah, firefighter. I'm sure he didn't have the beard per se, because if you go to a fire, go in a fire, you don't want your beard to catch on fire. So
Absolutely not.
absolutely not.
So let's go to Brett and Ryan. We start with them. She's got a game night going on for him, and they're playing Jenga. And so the creative thing she has is on the Jenga is no, she's got some cards, and so all the cards are all the things that she likes about him.
Mm-hmm.
And she went through a few things. I like that she's driven, he's work-minded, not afraid to hold her hand. And she had this idea to kind of bring them closer, but Ryan's thing was, I'm in his vignette, he didn't say it there, I'm not feeling those sparks. Brett was really trying.
He played the game. He answered the question. I think this comes from production as well. The game they played with. So he answered the questions. But again, he's looking for fireworks. From day one, he's looking for something to set his soul on fire. And I don't know if this spark is going to happen, but she's not a bad girl. She's trying to create something. And I think she really likes Ryan, and she really wants to get involved. But she also feels that he's not going in right now because he doesn't feel a spark. She feel hesitant because he feel hesitant. And I think they both need to go ahead and just let it go and be able to embrace their relationship with each other. Ryan said, when they was talking about the questions that the experts gave him, he's like falls in love real quick, but he's not even feeling that with her. So he's struggling right now. And it might be, again, we always talk about it, law first mention, when you first meet somebody, that was fine when they first met each other at the wedding. The red hair threw him off. Let's not forget that. He never messed with anybody with red hair. So he had to get over the red hair part. And then after the red hair part, he had to get over the fact that she acted like a child on the airplane.
Right.
So now he's battling through all that. That if there was a spark, even if there was a little bit of kindling, all that might have put the spark out, because he has that in his mind as well. So he has to work and find some other things with Brett that will make that spark come up again. Maybe it's the touchy-feely. Maybe it's getting closer. Maybe it's doing more interactive things. And their banter or their conversation is not bad. They have great conversation, and you can tell he feel comfortable with her, but it just there's not that oomph there he's feeling. And I don't know if he had to feel that spark. In relationship, do you feel that spark when you round somebody the first time, or meet with them? Yeah, it took us a minute, and except for me, I saw that day, the first day I met you, I had that spark. So, I had that feeling. And there's the awkward silence.
So anyway, it's because as much as you say that, I just don't believe it. But that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about that.
I liked you from the first day I saw you.
We'll talk about that another time. Maybe that'll be a matrimony talk. But yeah, so then they go through the questions that the experts gave them, and it's like, have you ever been in love before? And he says, I think so, maybe twice. And so Brett's like, well, it's twice for me too, but I know so. I'm for certain. So it's like, how do you not know if you were in love or not?
That's an easy, because you really want to be around a person and you're infatuated with this person and you want to be with that person, but you really see there's something in there that you don't want to be a part of. So you can have love in different aspects for a person, but not be totally in love for a person. I mean, I figure that's what he said. I'm not trying to cover for him, but I can see how you can. I can see how you can be in a relationship long term and not actually have love for a person.
Yeah, she just really wasn't getting it. Yeah, she wasn't getting it. And then the question, what would it take for you to fall in love? And she was like, I need some reciprocity. I'm feeling feelings, and she wants to know what he's feeling. She's not sure where he is, which, like you said, he didn't really say it to her. He said it to the guys later. Again, I'm missing the spark. He said in his vignette, but he hasn't yet to say it to her. But she obviously is feeling, I don't know where he is when it comes to it.
Yeah, and he has a problem articulating that. He can't articulate how he's feeling.
He doesn't want to hurt her feelings.
That's what I'm thinking too. That's the part I want to go. I think he doesn't want to hurt her feelings. Like, I think he's kind of semi-attracted to her, but he's not head over heels for her. You know what I'm saying? And again, goes back to the red hair and what she looks like. I'm not head over heels for you, but I do like you, and I don't want to hurt your feelings. He's not gonna pull a Chris and say, you know what, you're unattractive and I'm not attracted to you. That's not what he's gonna do.
Yeah, and so with the next question is like, they said, well, he said he's not there with her yet emotionally and physically. And so the question was, what will make you fall in love? And he's like, I'm not sure. He said in the past, he had the issue with, like, he waited too long, which also goes to why he doesn't know if he was in love. He waited too long to progress to that point. And then by the time he got there, the other person was out of patience. And so that gave Brett pause. That concerned her. Is like, well, I don't want that to be our situation. Did you wait so long to start feeling me and let me know that at that point I'm not interested anymore?
Yeah, but waiting too long, him knowing that means now he should be looking for something to kindle that fire real quick. He doesn't want to wait long, but he needs to go ahead and tell her, look, this is how I feel, so he can start embracing the reality that we're either going to be together or we're not going to be together. And so they understand where they're at. I think Brett and Ryan can work, but they both have to communicate and be able to be open with each other, because she hasn't been open with them. Even when they got the housewarming at Jose's house, when she was in the room talking to Gil and Merla and Jose, they were like, why don't you tell him that?
Mm-hmm.
Tell him how you feel. And so she hasn't been able to express to him how she feels, and he hasn't been able to express to her how they feel. And I think that's one of the issues that they have right now. They're not even sharing with each other how they feel about the situation.
That's because they're not on the same page. They're obviously not on the same page.
They're not, but they enjoy each other's company. I think with spending as much time they do with each other, I think when you're a talker, and maybe because I'm a talker, we're going to talk about a lot of things. And in this relationship, my 8 weeks in Married at First Sight will be trying to get to know everything about you. We'll spend an all night stand and try to have a conversation, kind of like Woody and Amani. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about childhood, family, parents. We're going to get to know each other, and I'm going to be open and honest with you, so to get you to feel comfortable with me, that you can share. If I'm not feeling you, I'm even going to be honest and say, you know what, right now I'm not feeling blank about you. I'm not feeling comfortable in this situation, not hurting your feelings, but saying, you know what, I'm not feeling this, but can you help me grow to this level? Can we get to this point? Can we get to where we feel comfortable sharing these things? And even if it got to be relatable to the dogs, he has to be able to show and have those tough conversations. And I think that was one of the issues.
Yeah, I was going to say, but that's the problem. He's not that kind of talker. Remember, they kind of gave her heads up, like, basically, you might have to kind of pull teeth with him. You're going to have to pull it out of him. And so that's an issue.
Yeah, it's the issue. She's gonna have to pull it out of him. And she says she's never been with somebody that she has to pull information from. And I think a lot of that too, because let's not forget the way that Ryan is right now is because of his friend passing away, and he feel like my clock is ticking. I have to do something. I have to do it now. And if I can't do it now, then I don't think it can be done. So with all that's inside of him, with the clock ticking and the friend passing away, he feels like, you know what? I need to get married now. I need to have kids now. I need to feel the spark so I can move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, it wasn't a whole lot with Brett and Ryan, except for like you said, they're just not on the same page. He's going to have to find some way to express that to her, and that they're going to have to talk about it, because they're not going to be able to move forward unless each one of them knows where they stand.
Yeah. One thing I like about Ryan I want to bring up is he likes throwing jabs. Oh boy,
he
can throw some jabs, and he throw them quickly. When they talked about the housewoman at Jose's house, even Ryan was like, "Oh, Michaela's gonna be there. Well, we got 24 hours. She may not show up. She might leave twice."
Right.
Even when they talked about Jose,
Oh, and do you think she'll actually show up?
Yeah. So he is one of those guys. He's again, frat boy. He's gonna throw quick jabs at them. So I think Ryan and Brett can work again, but they have to open up to each other. And that's one of the biggest things. I like the fact that they were open when they was in a group, and they were able to share with each person there. I thought that was pretty interesting to see that dynamic, that they were at least opening up. I think this group right here are closer than most of the other groups. I think season 10, New Orleans was pretty close, maybe because it was Woody and Amani and Miles and Karen that was there. But I think this group right here is pretty close with each other.
Yeah. So who we want to go to next?
Let's see.
We do Jose and Rachel.
Yeah, let's do Jose and Rachel. Let's get Jose and Rachel, because we're gonna be on that one for just a little tad bit, because Jose and Rachel had a lot in this episode. Jose and Rachel had a lot in this episode. We started with Jose complaining, all right, and I felt Jose's pain, because we done had this conversation, right? I know you was like, I know somebody like that too. All right, Jose and Rachel was talking about the toothpaste. Jose pulled out the drawer and said, "You know what? Who grabs the toothpaste like this and squeezes from the middle?" I'm sorry, y'all. Wherever I get the toothpaste, when I first got married, I'm not saying now, I've learned, because I'm not gonna say I've gotten better. Trust me, I've learned. Your kids do that now. It's not me. It's the kids.
That's true.
It's the kids. It's not me. All right. I used to squeeze from the middle of the toothpaste, But what I've done now, what I've learned after someone's complained or mentioned it several times, I'm not going to say complain, to squeeze from the bottom. I currently squeeze from the bottom. So I understand the conversation that Jose and Rachel was having, about that. So most couples might have that. I just want to know, if you're in the chat, are you watching, are you a middle of the road toothpaste squeezer, or do you squeeze from the bottom? Just let me know. I'm just curious.
Michaela said she had the same problem with Zach too. Oh, he's a toothpaste crusher. I think, this is a side note, I think you still crush the toothpaste, but you got enough sense to squeeze it down to try to cover your tracks.
Hey, whatever happens in that bathroom happens in that bathroom. By the time you get there, guess what happens? You will not know. And if we're in there together, it's coming from the bottom. Trust me. We're going to start the day off right. We're not going to start the day off with having a toothpaste conversation.
Right. But then we see Rachel, Jose, they're doing, all the couples in this episode, again, they're supposed to be stepping out of their comfort zone and trying to do some things to bring themselves together. And so Rachel proposes that they go to goat yoga. Houston style goat yoga.
Yeah, so I got one middle of the road right there.
You know what? A mess. You got to squeeze it from the bottom. Yeah, they do goat yoga, which is, at first I was like, I don't really understand the purpose of goat yoga, but the instructor kind of explained. So it's like, to help you in the poses, you get the little bit of weight from the goat on your back or your body part, or with them jumping on you or whatever. But afterwards, they had a good time. Jose was rubbing and patting and holding the goat, and she was like, I was getting dad vibes from him. He was caring so much for the goat. The little goat was cute, but I was like, I ain't getting no dad vibes, like Look, no baby.
I'm not scared of goats. I grew up on a farm. I like goats. I have no problem. My issue with the goats on my back is that something's going to come out of the goats that I may not be on. The little pellets are going to come out of the goat that I don't want to be in my back. And if you don't have a tight belt on, their little pellets will go down in your in the back of your pants while you doing right. So, that was my thing. I thought the goat, I never seen that before. Never thought about that. Yeah. But I thought, the goat yoga thing, I thought it was good. But guess what? I'm not trying to have no goat poot on me while I'm in a downward dog or anything like that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, nah. But she says, her heart was melting and she could see herself falling in love with him. So they also had the topics that they had to discuss. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, what do you need to fall in love? And Rachel says, I need some more understanding to fall in love. And the one thing I want to add, I don't know, did they have this conversation before that where they talked about the fact that she said she needs some more understanding and she needs him to listen. And he was like, his problem is he do a whole lot more talking than he does listening. And he was like, well, can you say it to me twice? And she was like, say what? Like, repeat what I'm saying. He said, no, remind me to listen twice.
I'm sitting here watching it. And I'm like, is he a kid? Is this a kindergartner? I know she works in she's a special education evaluator, right? So, so she's dealing with him on that level, That's why she's dealing with him on that level, because again, he has to deal with, he's not listening.
What is that? He's not. Say issue.
Hey, look, Kalita, I love you, girl. We go way back to high school. I love you, but issue. Hey, look, that's all the military in me. I've been traveling around. What might be the Baltimore, the Maryland are coming out. Issue. But anyway, but he has to deal with the fact that he doesn't listen. He does talk a lot, right? Yeah. He talks away. He likes to hear himself speak. Think about it. Jose, when he's in a room, Jose thinks he's the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
Jose wants to hear Jose. Jose wants to get that vibe. Jose is the smartest person in the room. He wants everyone to hear his opinion. He wants everybody to hear his thoughts. He wants everybody else to see his vision. So again, he needs to listen, because all that she said to him has just went over his head. He has no clue what she said. And then he makes up for it by being touchy-feely, and he really gets no point across. And we even saw that with the money situation.
Yeah, because I think what she said was, and he said it a little bit too. He said it's a struggle for him listening, because he said, oh, I might be doing something else. But how about this? I know Rachel comes across like me. I'm like this. I'm like, when I'm talking to you, let's make some eye contact so I know you're listening, So I think that's the problem with her. It's like, no, when I'm talking to you, get off your phone. Don't be doing something else. That way you can listen,
And we talk about a little bit. I mean, that's something I had to learn in marriage. When you get home and your wife is speaking to you, or even your children, take off cut off your phone, turn off your stuff, and have those serious conversations when you look at somebody in the eye and having those things, So that's one of the things that is key, that you have to be able to turn off the phone, focus up on somebody, and listen and pay attention, and so you understand what they're saying. So you don't misinterpret anything. And I think that's where they're going to have the issue, because he doesn't listen, and they're going to misinterpret. He's going to misinterpret a lot of things she said, and we see that a little bit later in the episode as well, that he misinterprets some things that she says.
Yeah. Here they talk about, have you ever been in love before? And she says, I thought I was in love, but maybe not. And I guess she's saying that based on the fact that it didn't work out and what happened as a result. So, he said he's been in strong like. He says he hasn't been in love. And the person that he was in strong like with, apparently, he was in a long relationship with her. It's like, well, why weren't you in love with her? He was like, well, his problem was she had kids. And I couldn't see being married to her. But they was together for 4 years. Like, what? How was you with her for 4 years then?
I think the issue, she talks about that a little bit on Unfiltered too. That wasn't the fact that she had kids, that he really wanted kids of his own. And there was some issues with that, where her having some more kids. And so it was like, okay, let's end this right now because it's not going to go the way I wanted to go. So Rachel didn't get much into it about why they really broke up, but it was like he understood that, hey, it is kids. I mean, that's where it was at, and that's where his relationship was at with her. Being in a 4-year relationship and not saying I love you. Again, people do it all the time. That's why you have shows like I'll put a ring on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because people be in these long-term relationships and never say I love you or never say I want to marry you or say whatever case may be. So I think he's never felt that before, and I'm not giving him he's not a pass. He just never said I love you. It's like Derek from season that's 9, season 10, 9 or 10, and that he didn't say I love you.
Yeah. But speaking of saying I love you, what ends up happening is, Rachel's like, I was with Jose and I just blurted it out. I told him I love you. And then she was like, and he just, looked at me like, what are you talking about? But she was joking because he did say it back. Myself, I understand. I feel like it's a little too early to say I love you.
It's 2 weeks in. I mean, look at all the touchy-feely they've been doing. They already consummated their marriage. They spend a lot of time with each other. They're in there. She's feeling love for him. So she may be in love with him. The way he said it back is like, he's like, if I don't say I love you back, then she may not love me. That's not, may not love me, may not love me. He's infatuated to me. I don't think it's really love. I think it's infatuation. I think it's lust. I think they're in love with the fact that they're married, not in love with the fact of each other. I think sometimes we get the two mixed up. He's in love that he's married, not necessarily in love with her. He has lust for her or strong affection for her, but I don't think it's love right now. I think it is, again, infatuation.
Speaking of which, and just I want to cut into that real quick because that was the conversation that Mirla and Gil had too. He said, I don't want you to be in love with the fact of being married. I want you to be, want me. Because he said he felt like she was just caught up in the being married part, but he wanted her to be excited about being married to him. So when you said that, it just reminded me they had that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think sometimes he wanted to be married so bad. Think about his checklist, and she wanted to be married so bad. She had lost over 35 pounds, and he had got paid, took care of all his debt, and he wanted somebody to spend time with and share it with. And so now they're involved in that. And I think Bal calls him she called him Rose or something like that.
Rose.
She called him Rose, and it's like sometimes a little too much. And I think when some people overcompensate their love or they touchy-feely for each other, they're hiding some things. And I think in this situation, it's a little too much, for them.
It's
I don't think it's a lot because everywhere we go, you touchy-feely, you kissy-huggy. We just met each other. We were just with each other 5 minutes ago. You don't need all that. You don't need all that. And I think that's where they're at. They're at the point where, okay, this is where we at. They put us together, and we're going to stay here, stay in this moment.
Yeah.
One thing I want to get to is when they were sitting down and they was eating, they're having a little conversation, and the Jose wasn't able to let some things go. Jose talked about her and her past. She tells a story about being a cheater.
And I want to, say where that came from. So they're supposed to plan some special dates for each other. And so Rachel and Jose, what he had planned for her, she said, what's one thing you always wanted? And she says, a Porsche. I want a Porsche. He was like, no, let's try again. And it was some coasters. And so he had, which we thought was a cute idea. They made coasters using the Scrabble letters of some words that have to do with them, hubby and wifey and, love you and stuff like that. And so that's when they talk about how he was disturbed by when they played Never Have I Ever. And, you said you cheated. But they said they had talked about that before. So that wasn't a surprise to him when she said it. But now is his opportunity to get more in depth with it. Like what happened with that? And see, those doggone Married at First Sight producers, they play too much. Because on the preview, it makes it look like she's talking about him, but she's not. She's actually talking about what happened when she cheated before. And so she goes into the fact that it happened with the person I was in an 8-year relationship with, but it was at year 2 and how I went out with my girlfriends and we're hanging out and there was alcohol involved. And one of my exes came in and basically, it just happened. I fell in bed with him basically. But she said, I told him as soon as I got home, we talked about it and he forgave me. And I learned from that situation not to put myself in those kind of predicaments where I would feel that way. And, Jose's like,
And what he said was, first of all, you don't just fall into bed with somebody. It takes some action and some time,
right?
And so, and what you also have to do is this. He made a statement which I kind of disagree with, and I want to, people in the chat to really chime in on this, or you as well. He made a statement: once a cheater, always a cheater. I can't agree with that. I don't think when a person learns from mistakes, you always give somebody a second chance. To me, you could burn me once, and shame on me, shame on you. Burn me twice, shame on me. You know what I'm saying? So, is that statement true? A cheater, once a cheater, always a cheater.
No, I mean a lot of times.
I know how you feel about cheaters, so
don't do that. I think it comes with a maturity level. So that's why I feel like you can't say once a cheater, always a cheater. Because, when people are immature in their teens, their 20s, they don't really know what they want. They don't know how to settle down or whatever. So I don't think that's always true. Now, once you get to a certain age and a certain level and that stuff, sometimes it can be habitual, but I don't think that's necessarily true. But I mean, he was like really hung up on it because he was like, how do I know that that's not going to happen to me? And she was like, I need you to just trust me. And he was like, trust you? Like, I don't know you yet to be trusting you when it comes to
again,
that.
He don't know her yet to be trusting her, but yet you can say, tell this person you love them. I mean, love the action word. So you should have to have that trust in there to say, look, I know that was your ex. You did that to them. I've put enough work in. I put enough time in. I put enough emotion in. I put enough stuff that I believe that you're not going to do that to me. And so he has to have the trust in that. And we saw later on, he's still hung up by that. He's not trusting her. He's not trusting her. And I think it's different when you're married and when you're dating, because if you're married and you cheat, to me, that is a sign like what a no zone. We can't. It's hard for somebody to take it back because we committed to each other. You said for richer or poor, for sickness or health, until death do us part. So if you cheated while we married, that's a whole different dynamic. You know what I'm saying? What makes you take me back? What makes you embrace each other again after that trust has been broken? That's some serious trust. I think that's where Jose's looking at it. He's looking from a marriage standpoint because he desperately want to be married. He desperately wanted to be in this relationship, and he wants to be in it for a long term, and he wants to make sure that the person he's with is not going to get bored of him, get bored of his self-control, him controlling them, and step out on the relationship. So it's more about him than it is about her. In this, right. It shows a little bit of his insecurities, because if you cheated on somebody in a past relationship and that relationship was gone, I'm not worried about me and you, because again, it's a new slate, new person. We're working on this. All right, we're working on this. Now, if the way I got you was because you cheating, then we have a different story.
Yeah, I should be scared.
I should be scared. Yeah, if I got you because you cheated on somebody else and you came to me, then I should be scared. Then you should be scared. But if they was cheating and they didn't cheat on you prior to y'all having a relationship, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah,
that's a big thing there. That's a big thing with him. But that's a big issue with him. And if you watch the previews, he's not going to let it go.
No,
he's not.
You gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. One thing you said that I wanted to go back to, though, when you were talking about not trusting that she's not going to cheat on him or whatever, is I want to quantify this. Now, just because you say you love somebody, you can still have a problem trusting them. And just because I can love you, but they didn't say I'm in love with you. So I love you. Saying I love you to somebody means I care about you. I'm concerned about you. What might happen with you? I think people get that mixed up with being in love with somebody, So of course he could say I love you, and then have questions about trusting her, and once a cheater, always a cheater. And he even said, I don't know if I could forgive. I think the things there's kind of like mutually exclusive, because they did say they're in love. It's just that I love you.
But again, it's about the forgiveness. It's about the time that you put in, the effort that you put in, the work that you put in, the investment in there to put all your eggs in one basket and to be let down because they stepped out with somebody else because of some issue they could have discussed with you, whether it's love, whether it's sex, whether it's communication, whether your cooking is bad. You know what I'm saying? Whatever case may be. To me, let's have that conversation before you step out. Let's have that conversation. Give me an opportunity to fix whatever the issue is or work on the issue before you tiptoe and let, Slick Willie slide up in you. Or have your husband, wife, or work wife. That's a whole different podcast because I don't think people should be having work husbands and work wives anyway, because I just think that opens the door.
Leave it there alone. Next, like you said, yeah, we don't want to get into that right now.
Nah, that's another.
And it's not because I have a work husband or he has a work wife, because I work from home. So my work husband is my husband.
That's right. We got to work in the office together. So that's my cube mate when I'm not there. But anyway, that's a podcast. That's a podcast for later. That's a podcast. So check that out.
I can't stand it. All right. Bow and Johnny or Michaela and Zach?
Let's go Michaela and Zach. Only Bow and Johnny for last because Bow and Johnny has a lot to their dynamic as well. So let's go to Michaela and Zach, who also have a lot, but Bow and Johnny we'll leave for last.
Man, I felt like at one point, this Zach reminds me of the other Zach from the other season, talking in circles. I was like, bruh, will you get to it already?
Hold up. You didn't like the bumblebees under the tree? No. I knew where he was going, what he was trying to say was, but I
did too, but I was like, bruh.
He took a long way to get there.
The interesting thing, we don't know how many days are in between this really, but he said this is the first time that he's seen Michaela. We see them, he's coming into the house. So this is the first time he's seen Michaela since the housewarming. And his thing is I felt like I've had to tiptoe around her because when things blow up, when we have an issue, basically she goes to the left. She goes 0 to 100 real quick.
Hold on. Let me stop right there. Let's stop right there because, again, he's just as bad right now. Because how do you plan on working out your issues if you're leaving, she's gone, and then when you come back, you tiptoeing around the situation? It's not going to get worked out. And to me, what translation? I'm only back because production told me to get back, and I don't want to get fined.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm only here. He pulled a Marshawn Lynch. I'm here because I don't want to get fined. Let's go for some of you guys. Last season, I'm here because, like Paige, I'm here just so I can get my check.
Yeah, and what he said was, though, he called her. He went to his apartment. He called her, and she sent a text message back like, "Don't call me, just text me." Now I was like, "Come on, you got to talk to the man." That was kind of petty.
It was petty. Again, they jumped in the bed with each other real quick without knowing each other, and now they caught feelings. I mean, now they can't handle it because they've been in bed, they've been intimate with each other, and it's always been sex. It's been sex. And so now when they have issues and have problems, he don't know how to deal. And he's already checked out because of one argument, right? And so what does he think? This is where the immaturity comes in at with him. What do you think happens in marriage, right? Do you not have arguments in marriage? You have arguments in marriage. And sometimes the arguments are they blow up, and sometimes they're low-key arguments. But at the same time, you have to handle them right. And you know that she didn't handle it in the correct situation. She even admitted, I didn't handle it in the right situation. At what point do you forgive and you move on?
You mean the right way?
The right way. So at what point do you forgive and move on? She told him that at the housewarming. Look, I messed up. I should have calmed myself down. I should have did this. And he was like, you know what? I just can't be here right now. Dog, if I'm not mistaken, don't those apartments have 2 rooms? Still be with her and stay there.
Bro, I don't know. He act like he act like she beat him. I got anxiety. I got anxious when I came back. I just don't know. I was like, dang.
Hey, he act like she like pulled a butter knife on him, or a knife on him, like she said, I'm gonna cut you while you sleep type deal. Or I'm gonna boil some hot water, which we know she can't boil water, but we have to get to that part later.
Wait. Listen.
But she act like he acts like he's scared of her. Like she went off, like totally went off on him, whether it was on the phone, where the cameras didn't see. Like she really went ape crap.
Yeah. On him. Yeah.
Well, we saw Hurricane K. Sorry, he saw the Category 5 that we haven't seen yet.
But he said it's been like 3 situations where he feel like that she snaps and like it's like he doesn't address it. Like he's having a hard time addressing it, like she's snapping, and she's like, this is the thing, we're both new to the relationship, we don't know each other that well, we're strangers, and we're learning each other. I feel like that's a BS excuse that you would say, I don't know how to handle. He said you don't handle conflict well. We have fundamental differences on how we handle conflict. But her big thing is like you're giving up before you even trying. We're trying to get to know each other. Like that she's like, that's a cop out to me.
But I'm not mad. Look, and I think he's looking at it being dating and not married, because if I'm dating somebody and they show me crazy, and we know a crazy female, right? You know what I'm saying? If you show me crazy before we start dating, guess what? I'm not gonna be with you and date. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be crazy. I don't do crazy, and that's one of the things we're not gonna do, and that's where he's at. But you're married, so you're gonna have to try to work it out. And that's what he's gonna have to try to do with her, is continue to try to work it out.
Yeah, but he's like, he's disheartened about where they are. He's sad about the place where they are. And, he asked her if she had any questions or concerns about him. And she says she agrees it's disheartening. And he's like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. What can I do different? What am I doing wrong? And, they're both like, we really want this to work and try to get it together. And she says she doesn't want to jump. She's like, I don't know. What do you mean? What are you doing wrong? It's just, again, we just need to get to know each other. And they have a question about where they get back to the place where they were before. And she feels like yes, but she's not sure how, but we need to get back to that place. And so what she's going to do is she's going to think before she acts, and, actually verbalize what she needs. Because the one thing she said about Jac is that, you're talking about me snapping and going off, but you don't actually, basically, she's like, you don't say what you did. You don't say how you contributed or what led to that. It's like it's all falling on her. But, she says she doesn't need to internalize, and that what she'll do with him is she'll listen to understand and seek clarity for anything she doesn't understand with him. And that's where they can start right now, how she's going to try to fix the bad attitude and the poor conflict resolution that she has. We can't hear you. Well, yeah, I don't know what he's getting ready to say, but yeah, but again, these are people that they were already, they're already grown. So these are behaviors that they've established already in their life. To have to come in to change it now, I think that's what she was saying is, we have to get to know each other and understand we both come in with attitudes and stuff that need to be adjusted. And she just wanted him to basically give her a chance. They have to give each other a chance and not give up too much. But they talk about, have you ever been in love before? And neither one of them say that they've been in love before. They don't feel like either one of them have been in love before. And she said her main thing was she hasn't been in love because circumstances changed, because dude moved out of state. And he was like, so the only reason why you didn't fall in love is because, he moved out of state. She was like, no, it was the circumstance. It just wasn't vibing.
Yeah, she wasn't vibing. I think you have that sometime when circumstances and stuff that you don't vibe in. I think what I was saying earlier was that she chose her words carefully when she was talking to Zach, because she didn't want to say, you know what, I think is my fault. She knows that she has a temper. She knows that she can go from 0 to 60 real quick. And what I didn't like is she really didn't take too much ownership on this, because it is your insecurities cause you to just wild out. He didn't call you. He wasn't dead. It's like, okay, why are you wilding out in this situation where you have time to have a conversation with him, connect with him? He said he came back. He said he talked to her. She went from 0 to 60 real quick. She wilded out, and you expect him to forgive. Now, if we're going to work this marriage out, he's supposed to forgive. I'm not supposed to forget, and I'm supposed to work on this relationship. They are too young. These two right here are very young in their relationship. And so what should have happened was we should have this conversation there. And this is my key point here. They should have been fixed when. This is my problem with Pastor Cal. It should have been. He should have never left their apartment until the situation was resolved. Right. You're the expert. You're the counselor. There, you had the moment there to fix this and to resolve it and let them move on at that night afterwards, and you didn't fix it. So you have to be able to find out what the root cause is, and deal with it. Okay, Zach, you good? No, I'm not good. Hey, Kayla, you good? No, we're not good. Okay, let's sit here. Let's work it out. Let's talk it out like they did in this episode, and let's try to work this thing out. Because look, you only have 8 weeks, and I can't. Some places can't. New Orleans just had another Hurricane Ida, right? You can't have 2 major hurricanes back to back.
Right.
And that's where the damage comes in at, and they can't. He can't afford to take another one, because if he gets another one, this relationship is done. Because if he's acting this way over this little simple thing, can you imagine if something really seriously happened? Oh, he's done, and he was done before this. I mean, they kind of mended things in this episode, but I don't like right now. I don't think this is going to work. They too young.
Because the other thing is, when they talk about falling in love, Zach's thing is, I don't feel like I've ever been in love, because I kind of like have this list of things that I need to check off. So like you said, I think if something else happens, he will be gone, because that was her concern. Oh, can I check off these things on his list? That he wants honesty, he wants maturity, he wants somebody that's ambitious, he wants somebody that's intelligent, somebody that's adaptable. And she's listening. When she asked him specifically what's on this list, and as he's going through it, it's like, so I agree with you. The minute that she's not checking off what's on this list, he will be gone. And
he was throwing shots at her, because how many of these on this list is not her?
Right. Well, she said that in her vignette. It's like, oh, I think maybe I got three, at least 3 of these things. So it's like, how do I meet the criteria? But the other thing that, when I'm watching it, sitting with my sister and my niece, when we're talking about, is the thing about Married at First Sight is, if the way that you were doing it worked, you wouldn't be on Married at First Sight. So a lot of these people in these couples, you're bringing your same habits in that didn't work for you before. So for him, okay, you might need to get off this list. Again, unless she threatens you with a knife. And I'm not saying it's okay for her to be going off and losing it. But also, Zach, you might need to be the one that's more adaptable. You might need to be the one that's going to give her a chance and be patient and let her work it out. I'm not saying, because I think Coach said this too. Don't stay where you're getting abused. Like, I hope it's not to that point. But you do.
She is. She's verbally abusing this dude, dog. Listen, I mean, no. I'm talking about and I'm not saying that it's okay to stay where you're verbally abusive, but I mean, did she threaten him with a knife? Look, she's cussing him like from the up to the. We have so many bleeps with her conversation. I mean, when they talk, she is really cursing him. So if we see the bleeps on TV and she knows she's being filmed, Can you imagine what she said when the cameras wasn't there, or when these phone conversations they're having? Yo, she's giving him the business, and I can see why. I can see why he's like, you know what? I'd rather just stay away, or I'm just here, like I said, just to get paid, because she's cussing him. Because you
But
can
you
see
know what?
look how childish she is. She said, you know what? Just text me. Don't call me. Here's another number. That's childish. This is your husband,
It
who
is.
you already gave the booty to, right?
It is.
And now you're being childish. But yet in
It
the
is.
same breath, when you with the girls, this is the man that I prayed for, and this is a great man. He got everything. So which one is he?
Oh, he's still that. She just same thing with her. You need to change in this scenario. You need to change some of the behaviors like you had before in other relationships. You're gonna have to do some changing because that didn't work for you before. But and again, I'm not excusing Michaela's behavior at all, but I really do feel like Zac is very soft.
He's soft in the situation, but he doesn't like aggressive. He doesn't like aggressive women. He doesn't like conflict. He doesn't handle conflict well. Michaela she likes conflict, or she likes to deal in conflict, which explains this is why. Remember, Michaela hasn't been in a long-term relationship in a long time. She had a butt buddy, right? So when you have butt buddies, y'all don't really have to have conversations. He come in, you go over there, y'all do what y'all do, and y'all move on. So she doesn't really know how to maneuver in a serious relationship. All right. So that's one of the things that they both having problems in. He's awkward. He has his list. She hasn't really been in relationships, but she wants to be married.
Yeah.
And so she has to try to deal with this relationship that she ain't never been in. And how do I maneuver in here when I have a guy who's just as equally stubborn as me? See, I guarantee you, most of the guys that she's been with has been, they didn't try to kind of give it back to her. Like what Michaela said, this is Michaela. But now you got a guy who's kind of matching with you a little bit, and who's not going to let you run over him. And now she doesn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah. And that's the one thing they talk about. Okay, because the question was, do you feel like you're beginning to fall in love? And she was like, initially a few weeks ago, yes. When it first started,
and that's one of the things there with him. Even when they first started in a conversation, and then like the restaurant where they was at, the place that they were, they asked the right questions. She is a loose cannon, and she is quick to leave. She's quick to go off the handle. With that, he's trying to walk through her. You lost you for a minute, but go ahead and repeat your comments. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't even know where I was saying, but she was talking about did she feel like they were beginning to fall in love? And she said initially she did, but then when they had the stuff that they went through, they've kind of fallen off, which he acknowledged too. And he's not sure if they can get back there, because what usually happens is that's just why I said I'm not putting it all on her. It's like he's looking, once he finds something that's not right, he's kind of like Johnny. He finds something that's not right, he ready to let it go. And he says what happens is I lose interest and I just go on. So he's like, I'm afraid that if I lose interest now, I won't be able to get back there, and I'll feel like I should have gotten back there.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this 8-week process, I think because of 8 weeks, if you're dating, that's fine. Check out, because it's red flags, danger, stranger danger. In this process, I think you at least try to give it your best effort to try to work on it and try to get you use all the helps around you, whether it's the other cast members, whether it's the experts, to try to work through this. We know that if they were dating, that some of these people wouldn't stay together, wouldn't be together. But I think in the midst of the experiment, that you try to work it out, because you're learning something about yourself. You're learning about how you're able to maneuver. You're learning how to handle conflict and handle problems and handle issues and dealing with that relationship. And so I think that's one of the key that Zac has to learn. How do I handle this? And guess what? Everybody's not going to check the box. We've been married 20 years, and there's some boxes I guarantee I probably still don't check on yours. I'm not 6'3". You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure there's some you don't check on mine. But again, you have to work on that.
6'5" or 6'6".
6'5" or 6'6". I'm not 6'5" or 6'6". So guess what? I don't check that box. But we've been together 20 years and come October, and we've been married. So guess what? Everybody's not gonna check every box, but you're gonna have to work on that and get there.
Yeah. I don't know what's up with them. I think the good thing for them was when they went, they answered their questions. They went out somewhere. That was good for them to get out, and he was like, that's what he wanted to do. I think he probably want to go out with her too, because he don't want to get threatened with that knife in the apartment.
Right.
Let me go someplace safe where I got witnesses.
Right. But again, you got to look at this too, though. Majority of their conflict was in an apartment. And so that apartment has conflict written all over it. So you want to get outside of where you have the conflict at and get to a different environment, new territory, and surroundings. So it's different. Let's date each other. And that's where one thing they hadn't been able to do because of the COVID and everything else, hadn't been able to date each other.
Yeah, but the one thing I do want to say is, they had the dinner Zoom. They fixed the dinner on Zoom with the chef. And they did that in the apartment. That was something that he wanted to do to try to like bring them together. I thought that was hilarious. He said the one thing I'm finding out about her is she don't know how to season the food. Neither one of them really know how to cook. It took the water forever to boil. I feel like he didn't turn the right eye on to boil the pasta, and the food was too spicy for him, which was hilarious to me. Because she was shaking quite a bit of the spice. But I think in that space, they did pretty good. I feel like with them meeting outside for the dinner and then the cooking the dinner on Zoom, they are on a better path. But I don't know. It might combust still.
I thought it was going to blow up there for a minute when he was like, it's too spicy. And she was like, no, it's not spicy. And he was like, it is too spicy. Like, why are you drinking water? To me, every time she speaks to him, I'm on eggshells and I don't even date her. It's like,
I don't feel that way.
I feel like, like if he says something wrong, she's going to go off.
I just feel like he's going to cringe. I don't feel it from her as much as I feel from him. I feel like when she says something back to him, he's going to go.
Right, but he doesn't know how to handle it when she goes back, because again, she might not mean anything by it, but just the way she comes off, it comes off a little tough, and she's trying. And I think she's a pretty girl. I think she's a pretty girl. I like her as a person. I like her, so I think she is. But I think sometimes she's a little rough around the edges, and she has to have a softer side to him so they can understand what's going on here. And so he feels that way, and so he has to get there. So he has to get there with her. So they have to be able to get together.
Yeah. All right. So I really want to talk about the barbecue, but we got to hit Bow and Johnny out. We might have to do a separate one for the little convoy. We hit it here and there for the convoy, the barbecue, about who would say I love you first or whatever. But let's get to Bow and Johnny. I feel like they made some strides. But then Johnny feels like the strides they make, like she kind of takes them back. I don't know.
She does take him back a little bit. Even when she fixed dinner for him, and they was fixing dinner, and when they got there to have dinner, it was supposed to be a nice romantic thing. She brings up awkward conversations when they supposed to be getting together. I think she really wants to answer to him, but her moments that she pick and choose are not good moments. Like when we're eating it together and we're trying to bond or get together, it's not the moment to bring up this conversation, And Johnny was feeling some type of way. I mean, it worked out in the end for them. Yeah. But it's like, man, Bao, can you just let it ride just for a minute? Can we enjoy each other's company just for a minute and not have any issues at this point? Yeah.
Because her thing is, she wanted to, have them cook their first meal together, and she wanted to go off perfectly. And she knows that for Johnny, that's not a priority for him. Like he would eat dog food, but she wants to show her skill. And, when they're cooking the food, she, they share some kisses and how I hope you like my food. And he said he liked the food a lot. And, she talked to him about how he feels today. And he just was like, I didn't expect, like you said, it kind of takes a turn. I didn't expect it to be this hard. I didn't expect hardship to come so fast. And when the hardship comes for them, like it's really hard for him to deal with. Like you said, in that moment, they should have just relished that moment and just enjoyed that she cooked the meal. But I guess maybe she feel like that's the only time I can have these conversations with him. And she says, I realize I don't know everything about you because she said, she brought up the fact that I feel like you're wavering in it, like you're not all in. I've been all in from day one. And he was like, how do you figure you know that? You don't know me well enough to know whether I'm wavering. But in this case, for real, she's on because he is going back and forth.
Well, look, I'm mad at him even asked that question. How do you know, dog? You went home when we first got back to Houston. So what do you mean? How do I know? You went home for a couple of days. When we first got back, talking about you had to clear your mind. So if you was all in, you would have stayed in with me. You would have stayed here.
Mm-hmm.
We would have been together. So no, you're not all in. And I think he has that issue. Like, again, he has a checklist. He has what it should be like in his mind. He's not used to a bow. He's used to somebody who is flashy, who's fiery, who's hot, who's moving back and forth, not to somebody who's calm and meticulous and perfectionist like Bao is. And that's where she's at, and she's calming herself down because, again, she didn't want she doesn't want to jump his bones like she used to. She really wants to get to know who Johnny is. And Johnny was a crush. She had a crush on Johnny.
Yeah.
So she really doesn't want to mess it up because there's a crush on Johnny.
Yeah. The one thing she said about that, though, is she was like, well, I'm not making an assumption about you. You told me that at this point, or when you see something's wrong, your first reaction is to run. So I'm not making any assumptions. But he said, he's not sure what the disconnect is between them. He's seeing a lot of red flags, and typically he wouldn't settle for that. And he just really wants to feel connected. And he didn't feel that initial spark, which I think he sounds like Brett. It's just not that extreme. Like, we couldn't tell that you didn't feel that initial spark. I think that's an afterthought. You're thinking about it after the fact. Like, I didn't feel that initial spark. Yeah. But he's looking for it, and he thinks that it can happen.
He doesn't like her challenging him. And I think that's the biggest issue. He challenges her. All right.
Yeah.
She challenges him to be a better man. She challenges him in different areas of their life, and he doesn't like that. And maybe it's a cultural thing or whatever case may be. He doesn't like to be challenged, and so when he challenges her, when she challenges him, he feels some type of way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the biggest issues too, because she's always asking a tough question. She wants to know. She wants to understand. Man, truth be told, she wants to jump his bones, as we see later on. But she wants it to be genuine, not just sex. She wants it to be love, and she wants it to be kind.
Yeah. Of course, they go through the question of, have you ever been in love before? They both say they've been in love before. What would make her fall in love is being open and honest, some unconditional love. And he says the spark is what will help him get there. They have a little conversation about how he didn't learn about sex till he was in middle school, and he learned it from hentai, which we didn't know what it was. Then she explained it's cartoon porn. I guess it's like Thai, Vietnamese.
It's like anime with. I had to look it up. I didn't know what it was.
Of course.
And so it's like anime porn, Japanese stuff. So
a mess. But she was like, what does she need to fall in love? It's like, we need to find more common ground and get on the same page. And, she basically expressed, I'm feeling you. I feel like, blah, 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 blah. And he, she talked it up enough where he felt like, oh, that makes me feel so good inside. And I feel closer to you. And where they ended up going to the room. Oh, we got to take these mics off. And I don't even see how that put him in the mood to make him.
He thought about his childhood and watching all the hentai stuff.
How did that make him feel all romantical and stuff?
If you look at Bao, it made her feel romantical too. She like, ooh, all right, let's go. She was ready. She was ready to go. She like, okay. She was brought up hentai a little bit sooner. Again, look, each his own. Whatever floats somebody's boat. Hey, they floated their boat. They got to the room. They had to take the mics off, and she was feeling it. Because she said, because she said, I'm feeling optimistic. The pillow fort is gone, and she's hugged up with him. And she was like, I am now the big spoon.
I'm going to get inside of him like a parasite. And I think was he faking sleep? Because then he kind of chuckled, he smiled. But I was like, but this is the same thing, which I thought was funny that made him laugh or he chuckled, because to me, she was talking, it was in the kiddish way that he said he don't like.
Right.
He liked it in that moment.
Right. Maybe he liked it in the moment because he watched too much hentai.
I don't know, but the pillow fort is gone. It's on the front of his body as opposed to separating them. So they were all hugged up and bunned up. And she says, of course, later on too, she was like, we may or may not have consummated our marriage. Just know that both of us are really, really happy. Really happy.
Hey, look, he was feeling it. Bow, put some bow on him.
Bow.
Because he was giddy, he was happy. He was happy to come home the next. If you look at when he came home the next time, he was happy bouncing through the door. He had a little bounce in his step. He was like, "Hey, what's up?" Then she had the beer laid out for him. They had a little bar
later
night.
on, she had the whole bar. They had the beer tasting thing, and she had the bar games up for him. Yeah. And he was like, "Then she got my favorite fried chicken, so she's 3 for 3. She did all the things that I really like." And so he said that night was very important to him because it shows how much she knows him and how she planned it out. And they even, obviously, they consummated their marriage, because then he says, well, we're going to shoot these darts and whoever wins gets to have their way in the bedroom. And if I win, I have my way. If you win, you have your way. Sound like consummation to me.
Look, either way is a win-win for him or her, whichever way you look at it. It's a win-win for everybody all around. Again, they enjoyed each other.
Yeah, he said it was the most fun he's had in a while.
Most fun he had in a while, and that made him kind of comfortable in that relationship with Bao, and it's going to take them to another level because they're able to have that communication now. It's been physical, which in my mind, that's all he wanted anyway. Mm-hmm. He wanted the physical from her. And because he wasn't getting it, he didn't know how to deal because he used to getting the physical from other girls.
Well, I don't think it was that he wanted the physical like that. It's like he wanted to get to the point where he wanted to be physical with her. Because up until that point, he was saying, she's not giving me the vibes like where I want to go there with her. She was feeling it, but he was like, no, she's childish and kiddish. And so it's at the point where they could do that. And then, but again, it always takes a turn where the next time he had planned the date night, the art night for date night. And, they're in there. He wanted to make up for it for the art museum date that he ghosted her.
Yeah.
So we're going to do some painting. And it starts off good. They're painting or whatever. But Bao, being who Bao is, she's a perfectionist. She wants to do everything right. She mixed the paint up. And she got all frustrated. She kind of she didn't go all the way, but she got in that space where she did when she got the sports gift, where she got in her head. And he was like, why she have to do that? This supposed to be fun, flirtatious. It's no tension there. It's just, you taking it too serious.
Yeah, and then if you messed up, it's okay. And that's what he tried to tell her, but she didn't want to mess up.
That's not how she is. He should know that.
But it was painting, though. It's something simple. Like if you make a line, but I know what she was trying to do.
When you're a perfectionist, it doesn't matter what it is. Like you want to do it right. And what was that face for? No, sir, excuse you. We're talking about Bao.
Oh, okay. No, I'm talking about Bao. You feel guilty?
Whatever. No, you looked at me.
I'm looking at you because I look at the camera. And I'm looking at you. You feel my eyes looking at you like that?
I'm done talking.
But it's always that person, And she wanted to, because if you look at and I understand what she's trying to do, because at the end when you saw what they were doing, she wanted it to match. She wanted it to match up.
Right.
Right. She wanted to match up perfectly. You know what I'm saying? So that was what she wanted to do. And to me, I thought they did a great job, even though it didn't match up the way that she wanted it. And I understand Johnny's perspective too. It's fun. Let's laugh. Let's joke and drink champagne. Let it flow.
Don't get so serious.
Right. Don't get so serious. But his mind was like, let's have fun. Let's do it. Make it fun. Make it last. And so we can go ahead and part 2 in the bedroom. See, his mind, that's how his mind was working. Like, we have fun, we enjoy each other. So at the end of the night, we can cap it off with our own little paint night. So
Right.
that's what he wanted to do. And he felt, again, because she was taking it too seriously, that it wasn't fun for him. And so I laid this out. I want you to laugh, let your hair down. Let's not be so strenuous, you know?
Well, this is what we came up with. Okay, so if you wanted to make it flirtatious and go that way, instead of painting on a canvas, they should have did like AJ and Stephanie they should have painted each other.
It's true. Nothing.
And I promise you, she wouldn't have tried to be, oh my gosh, I didn't get paint on your elbow. I wanted to get it on your elbow. I promise you that wouldn't have happened. You just got to do it different, Johnny.
He just looked at it, but it didn't take it that far. He wasn't that far upset, but he was like, you know what? I'm going to go with the flow. I know, again, difference between him. I know who she is, right? I know who she is, and I'm going to work in her confines, and we're not going to make a big deal out of this. I'm going to move on, and let's not turn this into something big and mess up the night. Let's continue to have fun.
Yeah.
And that's what he did, you know. And so, again, they're moving in the right direction. They have a lot more to go. Because I still think he has a lot of insecurities and a lot of things to deal with in himself. Daddy issues on top of that, relationship issues. Is Bao, are they moving forward? Yes. Are they better than they were last week? Of course. Are they there yet? Not yet.
Yeah.
Right. And, and so that's where Bao and Johnny is. I mean, I'm glad they're moving forward a little bit, I'm glad they're moving a little bit forward. So
yeah, I don't know if the consummation is a good or bad thing for them. We'll see.
It's a good thing because that's what he wanted, and they let their hair down because you see they're more relaxed now after the consummation. So now they're a little bit more freer and a little bit more open. They're a little bit more relaxed. That frustration and that tension is gone between the two. So now they can relax and bring it together all together. So real quick, Jose invited everybody to his house for a cookout. They was excited. Someone was excited to go. Now, Mirla was like, she doesn't do cookouts. She's an extrovert. She's an introvert, and she don't do too many cookouts. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, girl, you in Texas. You can go to people's houses. You just don't, is she that bougie? I don't know what it is.
She said it's because she's an introvert. And she doesn't like being around a lot of people. And apparently Jose lives far out because she was like, I'm not coming out here no more.
Right. It's a drive, but again, everything can't be, my uncle married a woman like this. And every time we went somewhere, it was a complaint. Loved her. She was a great aunt. I loved her. Still loved her. She passed away a couple years ago, so I can talk about it a little bit. But she was always complaining about, we would go out Waffle House. She complained about her pancakes. She complained about all kind of stuff. But she was a lovely lady. That was weird. I don't like the complaining from her. Now they all in people's houses and everything. And Khalil, I said the same thing too. I don't know. When I show people my house, I don't show them my bedroom. There was something about that. When all of them walked into his bedroom, I'm like, hold on, we don't do that.
Was that his bedroom?
Yeah, that was a bedroom. They all hopped on the bed and all hopped in the room.
I thought it was a bedroom, not necessarily his.
Nah, we don't do that. I'm not. Nah, we can show you the
room.
That's why I'm
like, I don't think that was his bedroom because was Brett, was she on the bed?
Yeah, all of them was on the bed.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that was his bedroom. I don't think so.
But anyway, the couple sat there in the living room or in the living area. Or they sat in the living room and they discussed who's gonna say I love you first. And everybody went around the room and said Gil's name was thrown out, Mirla's name was thrown out. Bao even said
I think it's gonna be Johnny.
I think it's gonna be Johnny. You know what was funny? No one ever said anything about Brett and Ryan.
Nope.
No one said Brett and Ryan would be the ones that say I love you first. Rose or Jose, as I'm gonna say Rose as Bao calls them. That would be my first pick. But but again, they broke off in different groups and the conversation came up. Ryan still throwing shots at Michaela. Doesn't understand why Zach is kind of really still rooting with her because he would have been checked out a long time too. I guess everybody's seeing the Michaela firestorm and they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with it. It's good. I like how the couples are, how they do this with all the couples getting together, and especially this one with the round table they kind of had, where they had conversations about different things. And I like the fact that Gil wasn't the one asking questions, but Zach was also the one that was asking questions, so that people can stop saying Gil is nosy and like gossip.
Right.
That he is the gossip guy there. But nonetheless, man,
The only thing I want to add right there is that when they had the conversation, Brett kind of left broke down, for lack of a better word, because she felt like, I don't want to compare myself to the other couples, but I feel like everybody's further than where I am. And the proof of that was the conversation that she had with Jose and Gil, as opposed to the conversation that Ryan had, about the spark and, if they can fall in love or whatever. She was just like, gosh, I feel like everybody's way more advanced than we are.
Again, problem here, stop comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah.
You can't compare yourself to other people in this experiment, because different relationships, different dynamics, different backgrounds. When you start doing a comparison game, you get in trouble. You get in trouble, and so they can't compare themselves. It is a fine situation when you start comparing yourself to who's another couple, Woody and Amani, right?
Mm-hmm,
if Miles and Karen had made a mistake and started comparing themselves to Woody and Amani, they may not have been married right now.
Right.
You can't compare yourself to a Amelia and Bennett. You have to find your own way in this show and make it what works for you. All right, and what makes it work for you. So that's one of the things that I think is very key there for the survival of their relationship, is they need to stop comparing to each other and work out their own relationship.
Yep.
Episode number 9 was interesting. Episode 10 has a lot of fireworks from what I've seen.
Well, we're not even going to get episode 10 next week. They're going to do that midway. It's the people tossing them up or whatever. I don't know.
We'll see how that plans out. I don't like how they stretch the season along anyway. But
I know
they stretching this bad boy with the midway point of the season, and we get to see. Look, whatever way it is, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna review it. We're gonna hear your thoughts. Hey, those in the comment section, do you like us doing this live, or you like to see more recorded? Let us know if you want to see us do more live ones, or you rather see more recorded ones. Give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let us know. Once again, Jack is not with me right now, so we're in different parts of the country. She is enjoying herself in some sun, and I'm here.
It's been raining. It rained.
Being Mr. Mom, but I'm having a great time. Having a great time with the kids. Great time with the kids. Love getting ready to take the girls out a little bit later. So we do a daddy-daughter thing. I'm a girl dad, and I love it. So anyway, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Make sure you give us a big thumbs up. And once again, share this with somebody else. Thank y'all very much. We enjoy the laughter. We enjoy each and every one of you guys. Jack, love you.
Love you too. Thank y'all. Bye.
And we talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Yep. Bye.